In this video we'll be looking at the desktop tool palette, which is the main tool palette for the software. If we take a closer look at the desktop tool palette, you'll see that there are a number of individual keys around the palette. If we start at the top, you'll have desktop annotation. Moving in a clockwise direction, we have start PowerPoint presentation, on-screen keyboard or hand recognition toggle, interact options, mouse mode at the bottom, screen capture or record, open scrapbook, and calibrate projection area. Let's go have a look at the individual pieces now. Selecting the pen tool allows you to annotate on your desktop and causes the desktop tools palette to change to the desktop annotation tools palette. At the same time, your screen is frozen. It actually takes a snapshot of whatever you have on there. This allows us to annotate over it, add shapes and everything, but the picture itself will go into Scrapbook, and there we can add annotations afterwards. If we have a look at the desktop annotation tool, starting at the top, you'll see we have the pen. Going clockwise again, we have shapes and lines, redo, eraser, mouse, save or record, undo, and highlighter. When we select the specific tools, you'll notice that in the center of the toolbar there are some changes. Now let's look at the pen. Around the edge I have thickness of the pen, so I can go and click on the different thickness that I'd like it to be. On the left hand side I can change the color. I can go choose one of the 8 different colors available to me just by clicking on the edge of the toolbar. So purple, if I want to go choose the line thickness again I can, and that allows me to have a thick purple pen. Shapes, if I click on the shapes, I have the color as before, I have the thickness as before, but now I can go choose either arrows, double-sided arrows, straight line, full circle, square, and go pull that on. The undo button undoes what I've done, and if I want to bring it back I can click on the redo button. With the eraser I can erase whatever ink I put on. In the settings you can change a setting that if you double click it'll erase all your ink in one go. We then have the save or record. So if I hold my stylus on the save, it allows me to open the panels, and I can choose between record, so I can make a flash video, or I can click save and it takes a snapshot right there and then of what I've done. So if we were doing a number of pages or a number of activities using this page, I could take snapshots at different stages. And the last one is the highlighter. I can choose the thickness and the color of my highlighter, and that allows me to highlight over anything that I want to. And lastly, we click on the mouse, and this takes me back to my desktop tools palette. Here it will ask me, would you like to save your annotations as a new scrapbook page? And if I click yes, opens up my scrapbook and puts that on with all my annotations. Let's quickly look at the rest of the desktop tool palette. Some of the buttons will have their own videos to go through. The next button was to start PowerPoint, so if you have a PowerPoint or you want to open a PowerPoint, you click on that. The third was on-screen keyboard or hand recognition toggle. If you notice there's an arrow on there. Again, if we hold our stylus there, it will give us the options to toggle between, to go between either keyboard or handwriting recognition. So if I click on keyboard, it brings up my on-screen keyboard, and I can use that to type. Maybe I'm on a web browser and I need to type in an address or a password or an access code, or I want to add a word to something. We then have our interactive options, and we'll look at those in a separate video. Our mouse, our screen capture or record. So at any stage, if I want to take a snapshot and put it into my scrapbook, I would click on that button. The next button is to open Scrapbook. Clicking on that would open Scrapbook. Then we have the calibration button. If I was connected to my eBeam, that would be active and I could go and calibrate my screen. The calibration of your eBeam is in another video. Thank you for watching this eBeam video brought to you by the Technology Training Academy.